Hi, everybody. I'm just going to quickly turn down this volume. I don't know if that helps you at all. I think it might help a little bit that I turned down this volume. Anyways, I have nobody on here to ask, so I will just continue. So welcome to tonight's webinar. This is week 8, part 2. Like, can you even believe that? That is crazy. Totally crazy. So what that really means is that Wednesday, so in 2 days, is our very last Star Diamond and 60-day training, which also means, which is sad, but it also means that on Thursday is the last day, well, I should say Wednesday night at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time is the very last second for you to go diamond or above, for you to go into the drawing to win a cash prize, okay? So you got to pull out all the stops, do what you got to do to hit that goal. I know I will post tonight a recorded call that Brandy Bots and myself we did where we shared our stories, and then we also talked about what coaching is. The whole call altogether, I think, was like 20 minutes, maybe 25 tops. So what I challenge everybody on the call, the webinar tonight, to do is take the rest of the night tonight, I know it's kind of late, and tomorrow and the next day, and just send that call to people. Obviously using Brandy's tips that she gave you in the last webinar. Make sure you use her tips on how to present the business and talk to people and build relationships. But make sure you're putting this opportunity in front of people. And I know I want to get into the webinar topic for tonight because it will blow your mind. It will literally blow your mind what we're going to cover tonight. But I want to make sure that you realize this, that if you want to be growing your business, you have to, like at a minimum, have to put this business in front of 3 to 5 people, at a minimum, I said, at a very minimum of 3 to 5 people weekly. And I have coaches in my leaders page, this was a couple of years, maybe last year, and I said, what are you guys struggling with? I want to hear from you. And almost all of them said they were struggling building their team. So we did like a little exercise where I created a questionnaire asking them what they were doing, how were they doing it, what they were saying. And what we found out that almost, I think it was, I won't say 100%, 98% of those people that I was talking to, when we broke it down, it was because they weren't putting this business in front of 3 to 5 people every single week consistently. And so they started to do that and their business started to grow. So that might be the little tiny tweak that you need to make in order to grow your team. And if you're feeling a little nervous about putting this business in front of people, remember, I always think back, what if Janelle felt a little nervous about putting this opportunity in front of me? It's our responsibility to share this amazing opportunity that changes lives. So make sure that I know it's a little uncomfortable at first, but just know that this company rocks. This company has the best products. You guys know this. And don't be shy or nervous of rejection, or I should say fearful of rejection or whatever about putting this business in front of people, because you just got to get over it. You're doing them a favor. If somebody came up to me and said, here's $1 million opportunity in fitness where you get to help people and change lives, I would be flattered that they would think of me to be great at that. That would be flattering. So just think of it that way. Get out there and put this opportunity in front of more people. You're doing them a favor. Janelle Summers changed my life, okay, by doing that, by not being fearful. So tonight, again, it's week 8, part 2. We have guest speaker Jason Diebold on our webinar tonight. It's not live. I want to remind you that this is recorded. And he spoke for me on a call a few months ago, and it literally, like I said, blew our minds. I swear, the thread was question after question, comment after comment. Our team, this was for our diamonds and above only, that were able to listen in on this call. We were all just so grateful that he shared this information with us. So Scotty, Meg, Brandy, and myself talked about this, and I said, is this too much for this training? Is this a little bit like too advanced? but we thought, you know what, this is something really important for all of us to know as coaches. So if you're a brand new coach and you're listening to this call and this might seem a little over your head, don't worry about it, but put this on your to-do list to come back and listen to after you get some coaches on your team. But if you have a few coaches, this probably will make sense. And if you're diamond and above, I'm sure you're going to be like, whoa, this is so awesome. So I'm really excited to share this call with you. Again, this is from Jason Puckhead, is his nickname. Jason Puckhead Diebold. He is one of my very, very good friends. He's so down to earth, so kind, caring, funny. I mean, he is such a nice guy. Do anything for anybody. He is a part of the Millionaires Club. He is the creator, and I know a lot of you know this, but he's the creator of coachingcodes.com. I know a lot of you use that, so I thought I'd mention that. He's an elite coach, and of course, he's an expert on maxing the comp plan. He has been a coach forever, so he's not a founding coach, but almost. And very, very knowledgeable in the other side. I know that you've been hearing a lot from us about recruiting and the bigger picture and personal development and setting goals and social media. This is a completely different topic that I am definitely not good at explaining. So I want you guys to take notes. And I know I say that every week, but you're going to need to take notes on this one because there's going to be a lot of information, okay? And there was one other thing that I was going to mention, and I can't remember, so I'll add it in at the end. So let me press play on this call that he did for us a couple months ago, and he'll take it away.
She talked about some of the things that, can you still hear me okay? I want to make sure.
Yeah, I hear you great.
Awesome. All right, she talked about some things that she wanted to talk about, like maximizing the comp plan, placement strategy, balancing your volume, and handling multiple CBCs. So that's great. Those are some of the things that I like to talk about. And maybe before I do that, I should just kind of mention a little bit about me. I am, I call myself a recovering engineer. So for 10 years previous to becoming a coach, I worked in the engineering field. And that means I'm very logical. I always see the pluses and minuses. I weigh everything out. And, I am a geek when it comes to kind of, websites and Excel in particular. Anything I've ever done of value, I feel somehow I designed it in Excel first. So that's just some of my things. And I'm going to apologize right up front. I'm sure you've heard several great speakers on Mindy's calls, and I probably won't be one of them. I'll be this engineer guy who's not a professional public speaker. So I'm just going to give you that warning in advance. So I think a lot of the folks on Mindy's team come from a very emotional perspective and point of view, and that's awesome. I think that perspective will get you to become great friends with your clients that will become coaches, and you can really connect very deeply. I definitely do that, especially with some of my guy buddies and friends, but I am almost the opposite of that. I'm just super logical, and I look at the numbers all the time, and I'm always analyzing everything. One of the great quotes I've heard from Tony Robbins is, anything that you want to improve upon, you just need to measure. And so I thought about that, and I'm like, that's weird. Is that true for my business? And yes, every week I look at my rank to make sure my rank's in the right spot. Every month or so I'm looking at the volume to make sure the volume's in the right spot. So it's just, I'm constantly going back and measuring the things that I want to improve upon, and therefore they do improve. So with that being said, I think, especially since we're all coming off of Summit just a month or two ago, when you go to Summit, Summit's great and I love it, everybody gets excited, but kind of coming away from Summit, at least I tend to emulate, all the people that are up on stage. So if I'm coming away from Summit as a new coach, the priorities that they tend to put up on stage are I want to be the top coach, and I want to be a 15-star diamond, and I want to go on this neat trip to France or Hawaii or wherever it is. And that's all great, but most of that is appealing to just one of your human needs. And so this is actually another Tony Robbins thing. Yes, I'm a Tony Robbins geek too. There's only six human needs as he defines them. certainty, which is like I want to know where my next check's coming from and where I'm going to sleep. And then the opposite of that, which is variety, like I always want to be in a different place, different thing. And then significance, which is kind of where the recognition comes into play. A lot of people will do a lot of things just so they can feel that recognition. And then the last three are growth, contribution, and love. And for growth, you could say learning. So 90% of the population really operates from those first two emotions, is trying to get more significance, more recognition, and just more certainty. So with that being said, at Summit, they're appealing to those things to you. That's why they recognize the financial independence award, because that's about certainty. That's why they recognize $1 Million Earners, because that's also about certainty and recognition. And 15-Star Diamonds is about recognition. But I don't think that that's necessarily the best way to build your business. And no matter which of these human needs that you're operating from, just be aware of them, and that way you're conscious of it and can guide your career, your path, or whatever to be what you really want it to be, not just trying to get a new award. So with that being said, what are the priorities that I would give for the business? And priority number one definitely has to be to help ourselves and other people. That's why all of us got into this at one point. You either wanted more fitness for yourself, or you wanted to help other people get fit, or you wanted to help other people earn money. So definitely priority number one is help yourself and others. And then I think the second priority that we all should have in this business is earning the Success Club 5 or 10, every month. And why do I say that? Is that because if I get a Success Club coach who does Success Club, I get an elite point? Well, no, that's not it. Because I've been pretty successful in this. I've gone up to $1 Million Earner. I've been elite, the last 3 years in a row. I've been top coach. And all of that results has basically come from a goal of trying to recruit 2.5 new coaches every month. And it's no coincidence that Beachbody saw that from several of the coaches that have done well year after year after year and broke that down to be, 2.5 coaches, that's really 5 points. And, if you're doing extra good and you want to build your business twice as quickly as I did, we'll go for Success Club 10. So I don't say that because it's going to get me more elite points or Mindy more elite points or your upline. It's really what you need to be doing every month to build the kind of business that Mindy and myself has. As a third priority, and this is going to come into play for all of us, I hope, is you want to get reimbursed for doing this. You want to earn some income. It's nice that we can help other people and that we can be fit ourselves, but, I can't do this 20 hours a day, 6 days a week for free, because I need to make money doing this so I can pay for my house and my car so I can keep doing this. So priority 3 is maximize your income, and that usually comes from maximizing your volume, and we'll talk about the different ways to make money as we go along here. And then number 4, and I think this is a big deal, is that the fourth priority that I'm giving you all for your businesses is rank. Maintain a high enough rank to earn all the income that you're achieving from volume. So I think a lot of other people, like if you look at Summit, that might be the number one thing they focus on is rank, rank, rank. But when it comes to building a sustainable business, that's the fourth thing that I mentioned. And then 5, which is kind of like the last thing I'll mention for priorities, is just that's where I would put in my own priorities about the contest, about top coach, and some of the other things like that. So I think if you stick by those priorities, you'll build a great business similar to what I have. So with that being said, one of the ways that I like to talk about money, because, I can look at Mindy's checks or my checks or a new coach's check, and it's all kind of relative. But I think one of the ways that I like to talk about money is, who wouldn't like to earn an extra $1,000 a week? And, maybe Mindy's like, well, not me. That's not a big deal anymore. But I think as a new coach getting started, that's something that everybody shoots for. Or as you move up in your business, you're always trying to if I could just make another $1,000 a week or another $1,000. So with that being said, I'm like, well, how can I teach other people to do this? So I went back through my checks and I saw one week where I made $1,000. And I'm like, okay, well, how does this number break down? And so to get $1,000, and this is going to vary between coaches and between your strategies a little bit, but to get $1,000 a week, 80% of that money for me was all about psycho bonuses. Only $50 that week was from matching bonuses, maybe $100 in commissions, and then another $50 in subscriptions. So when you look at that, like, yes, maximize your commissions as much as you can. Sell challenge packs, sell the program, sell the Shakeology. That's awesome. That's what you need to keep doing. But long term, the biggest portion of your money, I feel, and I've seen in my checks, comes from cycle bonuses. So really, when it comes to priority number 3, maximizing your income, what we really want to do is maximize our cycle bonuses. And so that's kind of where placement strategy and maximizing the comp plan and balancing your volume all comes into play. But where do you go? I mean, Mindy's got great training now. I've seen her training websites. Where do you go in terms of the company, though, that tells you how to build your organization? There's this new Coach Apprentice program, and then I think that gives you some good tips about how to get to Emerald. There's going to be another program after that that's talking about how to get to Diamond. They just did the new video. Mike Neiman just did that new video with his little toy dolls, and that's showing you how to earn cycle bonuses. But it's really basic, and I think that's still a little bit hard to understand. The truth is that the company can't and won't ever tell you how to build your business, because if they say something to you that your upline doesn't agree with, now that's some sort of a conflict. So they'll give you other leaders to look at, and those leaders will tell you how they build your business, but it's almost always just an opinion. And I like to say opinions are like butts. Everybody's got one. Most are very dirty, and there's very few I care to know about. But when you do see one that you want to know about, just be patient with it, because really that's kind of a form of nostalgia that person is dispensing. So I guess the rest of the call really is for me now to give my form of nostalgia, which is kind of my opinion on how to build. And when I look back at this, she said I started May 2007, so it's over 6 years now. When I look back at it, I'm like, this was so easy. Building this business was so easy. And I think when we're starting, it's all very difficult, and we struggle to get that first coach, and we struggle to get the last coach to get to Diamond. But when you look back at it strategically, it's not that hard. So what I want to say now is kind of how to do that. And so the first thing I say is, when you're starting a new business, the first thing you want to do is get to Emerald, right? When you get to Emerald, you get the free customers from Beachbody. When you do Success Club, you get free Success Club leads. So you can get Success Club 5 just by getting to Emerald your first month. And so that's something I want to encourage everybody to do. In fact, Mindy already talked about my website, and I think she got the website, one of the websites wrong. The main website now for me is coachtools.org, O-R-G, .com. Coachtools.com was available, but it was $5,000, so I didn't buy that. So it's coachtools.org, and on that page there's over 12 different tools that I've come up with because I needed those tools to help me build my business. And so as I make these tools, I feel very fortunate now because I've been $1 million earner, and I can afford to do this full time, and I can afford to spend a month at my cottage this summer just because I want to be somewhere peaceful. So because of all those nice things, I want to give back the tools that I've had to use, because why go ahead and have everybody recreate the wheel? So on that page, coachtools.org, I have to remember myself, the sixth tool on there is called Emerald Cost Analysis. And this was a call that I did previously, maybe a year or so ago with Barbie Decker. And before the call, I'm like, well, Barbie, what do you want to achieve from this call? And she's like, I need to build more emeralds. I'm like, awesome. I'll talk about techniques to build emeralds. And, but the basic technique on there is the company allows you to enroll with your own credit card, and also enroll 2 family members that live at the same address with you with the same credit card. So in theory, you can buy Emerald on day 1. I'm not saying everybody should go out and do that right away, but if you're struggling right off the bat, that's one technique to get to Emerald. And I think the best thing to do is maybe find and recruit your spouse, and then find a good friend or somebody else that's really into fitness, and you're Emerald right off the bat. So now that you're got to Emerald, all that you want to do is keep recruiting coaches that same way, if that's through challenge packs or fit clubs or Facebook or Instagram, whatever. I'm sure you're going to have lots of other leaders talk about those different things. Now that you're at Emerald, what do you need to do for your team? You need to teach your team, those new coaches, how to get to Emerald. And again, you can send them to Coach Tools and look at Emerald cost analysis, and that's going to help you explain to them logically and financially how they can earn extra money from being Emerald. So now you're an Emerald coach, and you've got a couple Emerald coaches on your team. Well, what does that make you? That just makes you either Ruby, basically, as long as you have 4 coaches total and 2 are Emeralds, or Diamond, if you have 8 coaches total and 2 are Emeralds. So you got to Emerald, you taught how to get to Emerald, then you moved up to Ruby and Diamond, and then what you do is you teach your coaches how to get to Diamond and Ruby themselves. So with that being said, what are the techniques or rules that I use to build this? And I think it's pretty simple. Right, I said it right off the bat. It's nice to have your spouse enroll as one of your first 2 coaches. And why is that? If you look at my volume now, 6 years later, my right leg does about 300,000 PV a week. I've been fortunate with a lot of great coaches over there. And then my weak leg is probably close to about 100,000 every week. So with that being said, if I had done what I'm recommending to do, which is sign up, family members or your spouse on day 1, like my dad would have 300,000 PV under his strong leg every week, and my mom would have 100,000 PV under her strong leg every week. And that would be a great position for them to build great businesses too. In fact, my father is up pretty hard in my organization, and as long as he can maintain his diamond rank, he earns $2,000 a week. So with that being said, it's nice to have your spouses up front. Now, with that, there comes this debate about, should my spouse be on my strong leg or my weak leg? And I think common recommendation is always to put your spouse in your weak leg. Why is that advantageous? Because if I have my spouse on my weak leg, when I sell a challenge pack under my spouse earns the $60 commission. But I'm going to earn a $14, a $16, or $18 cycle bonus now because that volume went in my weak leg. If you did it the other way, where you sold that challenge pack to your customer, you would still get that $60 commission off the challenge pack, but you wouldn't have any volume going on your weak leg. The volume would stick to you. So that would benefit your upline, people like Mindy or myself, but it wouldn't benefit your own bottom line. So whenever you can put your spouse in your weak leg or your second business center in your weak leg, you're effectively giving yourself a $14, $16, or $18 raise or percent raise based upon your rank. So I think that's a great thing to do. So now you've got, and if I had to do this, if I had to recommend, what I would do is I would sign up 2 family members. That's what the company allows for. So I would maybe put, my wife on the weak leg that we just talked about, and then maybe my mom or my dad on the strong leg. And we'll get back to why it can be advantageous to have somebody in your strong leg here in a few minutes too. So with that being said, that's basically first rule. It's nice to have your family and your team. The second rule I would say is build your 2 outside legs. So, Carl was live all day today, and one of the questions he had to answer is, are we a pyramid scheme? And no, and he explained all the nice reasons why we weren't. The definition of pyramid scheme is when you get paid to recruit people without the exchange of any goods or services. And we're definitely not that because we're giving goods and services. But with that being said, the way that I recommend to build your team is to look like a pyramid. I want you to only build your 2 outside legs. And one of my rules is to never put one of your coaches on another coach's inside leg. Now, there's always exceptions to every rule, so I think we'll get back to the exception for that. And, that's basically just never put somebody on an inside leg of another coach unless that coach is somebody that loves you and can't leave you. And I really say that for 2 reasons. Like, if I want to award one of my downline coaches by building their weak leg for them, that's great. It's a nice thing to do. But what happens is if a month later that coach who I wanted to reward says, this business really isn't for me, and I'm not going to do it anymore. Well, if I just put my buddy under this new coach who's only been in the business a month and then she quits, now my buddy is kind of stranded on this inside leg and nobody is ever going to build the team for him or, help to build the team for him. So that's one thing I don't want to do. The other thing with that is when you start building somebody's inside leg, they'll be like, well, I don't have to build this business anymore. I've got this great strong leg over there that the team's building, and then Mindy's so generous, she builds my weak leg for me, so I can just kind of sit back, maintain my rank, and I'll be fine. So it also takes away some of the incentive for the coach to build their business. Now, if you go back and we look at my numbers again, I've always had like worse than a 2-to-1 ratio. My strong leg was always doing twice as much as my weak leg. So every time I looked at that, you know, when I first got started, there was 1,000 PV on my right leg, and I'm like, wow, if I can just do 500, then I'm going to cycle so many times. So I strive to build up that weak leg to 500. Sure enough, as soon as I was at 500, my strong leg, you know, went to 2,000 or 3,000. Then I'm like, well, now I got to get to 1,500. So that incentive, by having the big volume on my strong leg, is what kept me going in this business for 6 years and built the whole team that I have, is having that big, strong incentive. So just like that incentive worked for me, I want to create that for everybody on my team. And so when I sign up coaches, I'm just building the two outside legs of that pyramid. Every time a coach sees a new coach in their team, they're like, wow, another 100 PV per week. And that gives them an incentive to build their weak legs. So build your two outside legs. Never put somebody in somebody's inside leg. The third thing I would say is, now everybody always asks about placement. Where should I put my coaches? And this is always a guess, right? Because you don't know if a coach is going to be strong or weak, but a lot of times you have some sort of a guess. So the rule that I give for this is you want to put your strongest coaches on your weak leg, because you want to add the volume to your weak leg. You want to put the weaker coaches, the discount coaches, and people that will probably stay on their Shakeology, but maybe not go out and recruit thousands of other people on the strong leg. Because why add more fuel to a fire that's already burning really quickly? So strong coaches to the weak leg, weak coaches to the strong leg. And I recommend to kind of build up that weak leg first. So if you're a new coach, you need to get at least 4 coaches on that weak leg. So you're going to put your strongest 4 coaches over there, adding the volume to your weak leg as soon as possible. And that way, every time you get a Shakeology sale on the weak leg, you're earning a cycle bonus. And we went back to the beginning of the call where the majority of your income comes from cycle bonuses. So once you get 4 coaches on the weak leg, then go ahead and make sure you have at least 4 coaches on the strong leg. Now, if you look at that, you've got 4 coaches on each leg. That's a total of 8 coaches, and that's enough to be diamond. But you have to make sure that you have at least 2 emeralds. So at this point, you've been putting all your strongest coaches on the weak side. So with that being said, if these were strong coaches that you thought would do good in the business, and you have at least 4 over there, well, chances are one of those coaches, by listening to emerald cost analysis or just by talking to them and working with them, they went emerald naturally and organically. So awesome. That leg is already all set to go diamond. Now you have to go back and build an emerald on the strong leg. You've been putting your weakest coaches over there, so maybe nobody's taken off yet. Hopefully they will, but maybe not. Well, if they haven't, that's when this goes back to signing up a spouse or a family member on your strong leg. Because at this point, there would have been lots of volume buildup on your strong leg, and say your spouse or your mom or your dad is at the top of all that volume. So now they have a really long strong leg and nothing on their weak leg. So I wouldn't mind now, and this is where I evaluate one of my rules. Again, this is somebody that I love that won't leave me. I start to build my mom's weak leg, or my dad, or my husband, or my wife's. And in doing that, now they start to get a paycheck, and they're going to go emerald, which makes me diamond. Now, what incentive would I have to put my strongest coaches and give away coaches on my strong leg, if not for building up a family member? And this is one of the kind of controversial reasons I recommend always putting a family member on the strong leg. If you talk to more less experienced coaches, they'll say, no, the spouse always has to go on the weak leg. But I think if you analyze this long term, and I want to be in this business for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, not just 6 months. So I think long term is the way to think about it. It makes sense to put on a family member on the strong leg. And now, if those 2 techniques don't work, another thing I think that works great now at this point is now that you have enough coaches on each leg, what you can do is go back and have some sort of a contest. So if I've got 4 coaches on each leg, I could send out an email to all 4 coaches at the same time, say, hey, I'm really excited you're all in this business, and I want to see you succeed. So the first coach that can get to Emerald, I'll give a monetary award to, or I'll get a free challenge pack to, something that's going to incentivize them. But one of the things that I've always heard about and I've done is give somebody a $100 award if they can build to Emerald. And if they think about that financially, it only costs $45 or so to sign up a new coach. So if they're going to get $100 by signing up 2 family members, it's almost like you're just reimbursing them. Now, that's not necessarily something that you can go around advertising on all Facebook and everything. But, if you do that privately with your own group, and you can think about doing a gift card or something, there's a way that you can challenge those coaches to rise up to the Emerald ranks. So you just did that, and now what rank are you? You're Diamond. And now that you've gotten to Diamond, you can obviously teach your people how to get to Diamond. And as you teach your people how to get to Diamond, then what are you? Now you're Star Diamond. And I think the same kind of rules apply here. If I've been putting the strongest coaches on the weak leg, one of those coaches is going to rise up to Diamond, and I can help them by giving incentives and challenges too. And then maybe I'll struggle to get the Diamond on my strong leg, but again, I have the family member back there, so I'm going to get my 5 Success Club points every month for myself. But if I have extra points coming in that month, I could, in theory, give away some of those to my mom or my dad. And now I've done that, you build up a diamond on each side. Once you have a diamond on each side, now you're a 2-star diamond. And I think by all the ranks that we have in the business, the 2-star is really kind of the most monumentous rank advancement that you can get. Because as a 2-star now, what you can do is you can open up a second business center. And so you can really become your own best coach. And I don't know about everybody else on this call, but like every time I sign up a coach, it's always a question mark. Will she do good? Will she not do good? But if I get to sign up myself again, I know and I have faith in myself that I'll be a great coach. And now with that kind of knowledge in hand, I can put that placement wherever I need the volume the most. So again, I keep saying weak leg here, weak leg, and it may stay the same weak leg forever like it has for me, but your weak leg could switch back and forth. In fact, the best place to have volume is to have your volume exactly equal on each leg, because that way one week your strong leg would be on the right side, the next week your strong leg would be on the left side, and you would never have any carryover volume, which would totally maximize your income. So now we're up to 2-star. We opened up our second CBC. I would put my second CBC on my weak leg. So now I've got the first diamond I built on the weak leg, the second diamond that maybe I had to help build that was a family member, and then I've got my new CBC, and I'm going to make that center a diamond pretty quickly too. So now I'm a 3-star diamond. If you can use those same techniques and build 2 more diamonds in your organization, you just build a 5-star organization. You're on the wall, you get all the recognition, you get to be on stage at Summit next year, and I can't guarantee any incomes, but now you're getting a quarterly bonus from the company, and 5 stars at this point are making a pretty good income in this business. Maybe I could see if there's any questions at that point. But what I want to go back to here is what we just talked about was helping ourselves and others, priority 1, priority 2, Success Club 5, and then priority 3, maximizing income. But what we haven't talked about yet is priority 4, is maintaining rank. So if I want to get that $1,000 a week income, what I have to do is I have to look at the limitations that are on cycle bonuses for each rank. So as an Emerald coach, you're only allowed to make $250 per week in cycle bonuses. So when your volume gets so high that you have the opportunity to make more than $250, what do you have to do? You have to go up in rank. And so as a Ruby, you can earn $1,000 a week in volume. So if that was your goal, and that's where your volume was at, you'd have to at least maintain that Ruby rank. Now, as soon as your commissions, your cycle bonuses go over $1,000, you have to become a diamond, and then you can earn $2,000 per week. And this is one way, because it's not really nice and cool to ask people how much they're making per week. But if you look at their rank, you can tell what the maximum amount of money that they can make is. Because from 2-star all the way up until 10-star, that monetary limit goes up by $1,000. So 3 stars can make, we left off at diamond. Diamonds make $2,000, 1 stars make 3, 2 stars make 4. So it just goes up by that $1,000 all the way up to 10-star. And then, I have different opinions and controversies about going beyond 10-star, yes, there's a quarterly bonus for 10-star, 5-star, 2-star, 15-star, but from 10-star up until 15-star, you can't make any more cycle bonuses. And so my argument for not, never really going above 10-star is, why would I want to build more diamonds on my team when their volume isn't going to produce any extra money for me? I would rather put those new diamonds in my second CBC or my third CBC and keep that volume going in my weakest legs and helping those additional CBCs up their ranks so that they can earn more potential money too. And I think one of the reasons I came up with this a long time ago is I've seen the comp plan change. When we first were involved in this business, you had got paid a cycle bonus for every 360 volume points. You had to do 240 on one side and 120 on the other side. Now that's changed to be 200 and 100 for a total of 300. And in doing that, the amount that you got paid per cycle bonus actually went down. It used to be $25 as a diamond, and now it's $18. It's a little bit easier to achieve the cycle bonus now than it was before. So for most coaches, their income went up, and they didn't complain. But the truth is that at some point, the comp plan breaks down. You can't afford to pay all these volumes for everybody forever. So the comp plan will have to be changed and modified. And if you want to secure your income, let's say, God forbid, the most that you could ever make in one CBC was $1,000 a week. If you had 4 CBCs, now it would be up to $4,000 a week. So I guess my fear of them changing the comp plan and limiting the amount of money that I could make per CBC has been what's driven me to open up multiple CBCs every year. One of my goals is to do a new CBC every year. I'm slacking a little bit. I only have 4, and I've been in the business for 6 years. But because of that diversity, if the comp plan ever changes, I know that I've maximized my income in each of those 4 CBCs, which long-term maximizes and diversifies my money. So that's probably some pretty deep stuff. And, if you're still at Emerald, and I don't think that's really the audience that we're talking to here, because I know that this is a Star Diamond group and an elite training group. So hopefully that makes sense. The reason that this all ties into, and I'll be short here because I know we're running long on your time, Mindy. The reason that I have coach tools is these are the tools that I needed to help me build my business. One of the speeches that I always do at Summit and for my team is basically, how to get to this $1,000 a week. What we talked about in this call was how you get there, maximizing your volume and your rank in order to achieve that. What I do in the speech that I typically give is I show you how coach tools ties into each step of that. So, one of the first things you want to do as a coach is you need to tell people that you're in business. So one of the 12 tools there is coach templates. And from coach templates, you can make business cards and labels to pass out on samples with Avery templates and Microsoft Word. So it makes it really easy. I've done the work once, and you can kind of just copy and paste and make these labels for yourself. The next tool is a Facebook application, which helps you make a Facebook like page. A lot of people, I think, have skills with HTML, and then a lot of people don't. Well, if you follow the directions on the Facebook application from Coach Tools, that'll show you how to make a like page. And then the next thing on there is Coach article links. So now that you have a Facebook page, somewhere to send everybody to, you need to build content. And one of the ways to build content is Beachbody's got thousands and thousands of articles that they build over the years by professional writers. You can actually link to each one of these articles using your coach number, and if somebody reads the article and likes it and decides to buy Shakeology or the Ultimate Reset because they liked an article, that's automatically tied to your account, and now you'll get the commission. So I can go on and on with these different tools. The next one is coachingcodes.com, and I hope everybody's had a chance to look at that, because what I've done there is I've put every product that I'm aware of in the back office and tied that to your coach number. So if you want to sell P90X somebody, you don't have to tell them that's teambeachbody.com/puckhead/MSRP P90X/42, whatever the crazy thing is. You can just say, well, go to p90x.puckhead.org. So I've listed all the products there. You can go there, put in your coach number, copy that link, and give it to your clients so that instead of them having to go to your website, click on coach, store, trainers, Tony Horton, P90X, they click on one link and they just add that item to cart, and then they have to fill out their membership to become your client. But I think that way is just smoother and easier transition. So I would recommend everybody, having to listen to this call, go back and look at the 12, 14 steps on coachtools.org and see if there isn't something there that you need for your business. I also have an elite calculator on there. I've got a rank calculator. I've got psycho bonus calculator. So all kinds of different tools that you can use to use your business. And everybody, I think, in this business, adds a different thing. If you look at Tommy Migrant, he's added the 5 steps. Mindy's doing some of these great trainings here and all her contributions. If we each take that nugget that we're best at and put it back in the pile, which is Team Beachbody, what you're going to see is that we have all these tools and resources and techniques that's going to make this company and our products and our vision expand beyond us. And when we go back to those 6 human needs, everybody, I think, initially starts off wanting more certainty and significance in their life. But the more certainty that you get, and the more recognition, becomes less of a sparkly, shiny trophy, then really what you emulate to is experience more love, more learning, and contribution. And I think long-term, the only thing that we ever get to leave is a legacy, and that only comes from contributing to somebody else. So people all ask me a lot, it's like, well, why do you give away coaching codes? Shouldn't that just be something for your team? And it's like, no, that's an easy thing to decide, because if I have to keep coaching codes to myself, and Mindy asks for it, I'm like, well, Mindy, I'd love to share that with you, but really that's a team tool, and we have to be all about scarcity, and I can't share that because all my team will get mad. What are the feelings that I have when I do that? I feel like dejected. I feel apprehensive. I feel like I'm hoarding. I feel scarcity. And instead, if Mindy's like, hey, I heard you got this cool tool that'll give everybody links to all their sites, and I'd love to use it. I'm like, yeah, sure, coachingcodes.com. Now I feel abundant. I feel connected. I feel love. I feel generous. And I just choose to feel that second set of emotions more than I choose to feel the first set. And I think when Tommy contributes his five steps, when Mindy does her training, when everybody contributes the gift that they have, and what I'm trying to do here at Coach Tools, then it's just all a warmer, happy, fuzzier place to live in. So I said I wasn't going to get too emotional, but maybe I did. And I hope that helps. I know I probably went at a quick pace for some people, so I'd be happy to stay around for any questions, if that's appropriate.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. So hang on. Let me just grab this real quick. All right. So that was amazing. And like I said before we got started with this, I know that this call is it's not what you're used to hearing. Let's just put it that way. But it's something very important that we do need to be trained on. That's why, like I said at the beginning of the call, Scotty, Brandy, Meg, and I decided this is something that we wanted you guys to learn and to put into the Star Diamond training, because the people who sign the commitment forms and who are on this webinar and listening into this webinar, listening to the recordings, you guys are serious about this. You're committed. You're not in it for 6 months. You're in it for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. You want this to last. And so why I wanted you to learn how to maximize the comp plan and to set yourself and your business up for success is because you guys are the committed and you are the leaders. You know what I mean? So thank you for tuning in tonight. If you have any questions about this webinar, I want you to go to the Star Diamond in 60 Days Facebook group and ask the questions there. If you are listening to this as a recording and the Star Diamond training is over, considering it's over next week and it is March 3rd, 2014, then please go ask your upline or go to your team Facebook group and ask the question there. But other than that, the reminders, I just want to remind you on Wednesday, we are going to be doing a big, webinar with Scotty, Meg, myself, and Brandy, and we're going to be going over tips on how to get you to continue to grow even after the training is over and steps to take after this is over. But most importantly, your goal for the 60 days training was to go diamond or star diamond. So do not give up. Like, do not give up until Wednesday at 11:59 Eastern time. 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. You better be up at your computer working until you get there if you have not reached the goal yet. Do not give up. Okay, guys? Like I said, look for the What is Coaching recorded call that Brandy and I did to share with your prospects and friends and family and everybody who you think would be great at this. And that's about it. So thank you for tuning in tonight, and I will talk to you guys in the Facebook group.